Welcome to the Marketing Mortgages podcast by Social for Brokers. Now, today I have with me John Foster of Foster's Financial, quite aptly named. So John started his mortgage advice business from his kitchen table 10 years ago now. And now he's got a team of 13 people and growing. And they do 70 mortgages per month, and they're looking to grow even further. Now, today, John is going to talk us through his business blueprint. He said to me, I'm going to be as honest and as open as possible about how he went from a kitchen table in Ipswich to a business that does in excess of £1 million per year. So, John, welcome onto the podcast, mate.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Thank you for having me. Look forward to having an honest conversation.
Love this. So we got chatting on LinkedIn to book this in, and I always throw ideas around with people that are looking to come on, and I say, is there anything you want to discuss, anything that you want to almost push yourself or sell yourself? And John was very much like, no, I just want to add value and show people how I've built this business, which I think's in this day and age when we have so much rammed down our throats in terms of marketing and social media Constantly. And podcasts. It's really nice to be able to sit here and say, for the next 40 minutes, you guys can listen in and we're going to talk about how John has built his business. So, without further ado, John, let's get a bit of a background to you. Can you tell us where you started and how you got to the point of where you are today, please?
Yeah, sure. So, believe it or not, we are over 10 years old now, which I find a staggering number. That feels like it's gone very quickly, but at the same time, taken an awful long time. But so, long story short, I started in the corporate world. I worked for one of the large corporate estate agents for a number of years, and then wanted to get a bit of life back. So I started this business, really, if I'm honest, without a plan, without the end in mind, which is what they say you should do. I just started it because I wanted to get a bit of time back, not be home at 9 o'clock every night, not be submitting mortgage applications in my pajamas in the evening, and just enjoy life a little bit more. But that didn't really work because I then got the bug, and here I am. I'm not submitting mortgage applications in my pajamas anymore, but I'm probably doing just as many bits and pieces in the evenings and the weekends. So there you go. Started in the corporate world, and then set up my own business, which was me, myself, and I. And then it's just grown over that 10-year period. Being honest and transparent, we've got bigger and we've shrunk again, and we've got bigger and we've shrunk again. And I've got plenty of scars along the way of market conditions and problem staff and all of that sort of stuff that I'm more than happy to share.
Awesome. I love that you said scars, because I think a podcast we could sit here and say everything's rosy and everything's perfect, but over the next half an hour, I'm going to press on a few of those scars, if that's okay, John, because it makes a great
absolutely.
Listen. But
there's lots of
I think I think it will show people that there's not one route to success, and success isn't always that linear graph. It's peaks and troughs along the way. God, it sounds like a bit like a Diary of a CEO podcast, this already, doesn't it? Like, what makes you cry?
No, let's not go there. I said I was willing to share, but maybe not that much.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're not doing the podcast in your pajamas. But it is. I saw a funny meme the other day that was almost like, I decided to work for myself, so I don't have I decided not to work 40 hours for somebody else so I can work 80 hours a week for myself. And I think that's true for a lot of business owners listening to this.
Yeah,
so let's get straight into the business side of things then. You've obviously been running your business for a long time, and your business, every mortgage advice business out there, runs on leads, the magic L word.
Yeah.
Can I ask, where do you generate your leads from at the moment, John? Because it's your mortgage brokers, your team that you're having to generate these leads for. So where do you generate them from?
Yeah, so my job really is to fill the hopper. So it's to make sure the hopper's is brimming for the guys and girls in the office. So we have a few sources, as you would expect. There's the usual ones, which is our client retention, so our existing remortgages that are coming up for expiry. Everyone's got those. We do a lot of work on referrals in order to get referrals from our existing client bank. I think that's a license to print money. Customers love you, and your cost per acquisition on an existing client referring someone is way lower than it would be through any other means. So we do a lot of work on that to try and get as many of those through the door as possible. We've got then two other pots really. One is what I would call our social or organic outreach, along with pay-per-click. So we get some inquiries through our Instagram, Facebook channels. We aim to get lots of regular content on there, real life content of the brokers, reels, etc. that you'll see if you look at our socials. But we also spent money to Mr. Google to send lots of inquiries to the website and convert them, which is a very, very delicate game, as you know far better than me, Chris. But you've got to put some serious money behind that, unfortunately, in order to get serious volume. And when you do, you've got to call it like within 10 minutes of it coming in. Otherwise, it's no chance. So that's the second pool, and then the third pool, which is our biggest pool, is estate agency introducers. So we work with a lot of independent estate agents, predominantly in the east and southeast, that refer clients to us, and my job is helping them send more.
Gosh, wow! So what I like is there's so many different ways of coming in terms of leads. Speaking to some of the most successful mortgage brokers, they don't rely on just one specific area. So we've got, I'm just writing all these down. So we've got estate agency leads, which is self-explanatory, introducers. We've then got Google and PPC, organic, and referrals. Now, could you talk me through the referrals? How does that work? How much do you pay people? How do you promote it?
Yeah, sure. I absolutely can. So this is hot off the press. Our clients don't even know this yet, but there's an email going out, I think this afternoon or tomorrow, and some social media coverage. But so our referral scheme was that we paid £100 to the client that referred someone, and then we gave, I think, £50 off the fee for the person that was using us. What we're changing that to is a quarterly pot of £500, and everyone that refers someone to us goes in the pot, and then we're drawing that out once a quarter. So, I'll be transparent, and I think it's all these good things are. It's not my idea. It's something I've picked off one of my friends who's got another mortgage brokerage that they do. So that's our new scheme. So it's £500 a quarter. Any client that's sent to us, the person that's sent them gets a name in the pot, and that's get pulled out once a quarter, and they win £500.
Oh, so if I referred, say, 5 clients, does that mean my name goes in 5 times?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Ooh. And that's what we want,
nice.
Someone to be able to, a chance of earning something more. What we found was, I think obviously times change and all of this sort of stuff. £100 didn't seem anymore to be that sexy. £100 is still a lot of money to anyone, but it just didn't seem to get the traction that it once did. So that's why we've mixed it up and just trying something a little bit different.
Oh, okay, fantastic. It's always good for people to throw around new ideas, and thanks for sharing that. That's fab, very honest and transparent. So we talked about referrals. Now, the other one I wanted to speak to you about was that recurring book. So people coming back to you 6 months out, getting in touch with them. Do you have a specific process in place to get in touch with these people?
Yeah, we absolutely do. So we use our own CRM. So we, in addition to the network CRM, we have our own, so that we can own that data and really have control over it. And we'll call clients 7 months, not 6. And the reason we do 7 is because all of the banks and building societies are contacting them at 6. So they're getting letters, emails, texts. I've got a mortgage with BM Solutions, and today I've received a letter to say, come to us direct, don't go to your broker, which is obviously what we don't want. So, we contact our clients 7 months out. At that point, we're saying, look, it's coming to an end. We can't actually do anything yet, but let's get you booked in and let's get the wheels in motion. And then we have an automated system which will follow up with that client all the way through that 7 month period, just to keep nudging them if we've not got a decision out of them as to what they want to do.
Nice. Do you mind me asking what piece of software you use for your own CRM?
No, so it's a Go high level system.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay. So
so it's
that's
pretty. Yeah, so it's available to anyone. It's not mortgage specific, but it's a really good plug and play, drag and drop marketing system that really works.
I love that you say that because we switched to Go High Level as well, and I've spoken to
Yeah.
another mortgage broker that used it over the likes of HubSpot, and
Yeah.
I think cost wise it's a lot bloody cheaper. I'll tell you that compared to the likes of HubSpot.
It's a lot cheaper.
But I just find it a bit easier to use, I think.
The problem with this is, especially in 2026, tech is moving so fast, right? That you spend loads of time on it and you get this great thing that's going to be brilliant for 12 months. And then we've got to change it all to something new. But that's 2027 problem, isn't it? So I'm sure it will be outdated soon. But I think here and now, from the research that I did, it's probably the best bit of tech for doing what we wanted out there.
Exactly. And I think with Go High Level, one of the biggest backers of Go High Level, I don't know if you follow him, Alex Hormozy, if anybody listens to this.
Yeah.
Alex Hormozy is probably, I would say, maybe one of the number one marketeers in the world at the moment. He's written several books and he uses High Level. He's an investor in it. I think he's helping him grow it. So to John's point, exactly, tech is moving so quickly, but I feel by him being involved with High Level, they will keep on pushing it to be better. So it's a great bit of software. Do you mind me asking how you put those all... Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm reading one of his books at the minute. They're $100 million deals, is it? Something like that.
Yeah, the next, so over my right shoulder. Here is...
$100 million offers,
one.
There you go.
Is that the one? There's a new one out.
Down there somewhere for me. But I listened to another podcast and they suggested that, Alex Hormozy's, and brilliant. Really good stuff.
Yeah, he's very... Look, he's quite brash and Marmite sometimes. He's a workaholic and he admits that, but very good at marketing. With the automations and the workflows that you've built in Go High Level, so essentially when we talk about automations, guys, for anybody that's listening, what a client of John's, if they haven't booked in an appointment, they'll get an email in March. Then if they still haven't booked, they'll get an email in April. If they then book an appointment in April, they don't get any more emails about booking back in. So it's an automatic thing. Did you have somebody external to build that? Did you do it in-house yourself?
No, we did it in-house.
Nice.
But, I think you've got to do it in your own way. And what I didn't want was to be a rinse and repeat of someone else. So we've used some AI in order to get some, to do some of the heavy lifting, I guess, for us, the templates and when should go out and all of that sort of stuff. So we've not sat there with, Word and typed it all out and then this is what we want to do. But, Go High Level, it's so easy to say, all right, this is what I want to do. And talk you through it.
Nice.
So the way I looked at it, that I want to know every single bit of how this is working. So therefore, I did it myself. And I think marketing in your business is the one thing that you need to know. You need to know what's going on. You don't necessarily need to do it, but you need to know what's going on because over the 10 years I've been in business, I spent so much money on SEO, pay-per-click, and then you get however long down the line with these agencies, and it hasn't got what I wanted, and I've got pay-per-click for this really long tail keyword that's never going to produce me any results, but I'm spending a fortune on it. So I make it my business to know enough about that sort of stuff so that I can make sure that we're doing the right things in the right way.
That's a really good tip for people to know their business inside out as well as their systems. If you are going to use another CRM, just try and understand what that CRM involves. And more so, there's a lot of stuff in High Level that I haven't used at the moment, but I know it's there and it saves me having to go and pay for something extra. For example, with the likes of Calendly, I used to use Calendly all the time. then realise that Go High Level has a free one built into it. So
Yeah.
it's little things like that that can reduce the amount of money that you spend on your software as well.
Yeah. I mean,
So great point.
it's got a round robin calendar as well, which I found out literally this week. For my remortgage team, we've now set up a round robin, so the client gets an email and they can book into their diaries, but it will do one for Ashley, one for Isaac, one for Ollie, one for whoever else. And that's wow, that's game changing.
Yeah, hugely. Great bit of software. Okay, so we've talked through the leads. So we're getting them from introducers, we're getting them from Google PPC, we're getting them from referrals, and we're getting them from organic. How do you find you generate leads via organic, John? I'd love to hear about how you do that.
Yeah, I mean, what I would put under that banner, and you know far more about this than me, Chris. So,
no, please.
For everyone who's listening, take Chris's advice, not mine on this. I would say, but so we spend a fair amount of money every month on search engine optimization. Obviously, a really big thing now is GEO rather than SEO, which is about ChatGPT or Gemini or whoever. You're asking them who is the best mortgage advisor in Colchester or wherever we're targeting. And I think that's going to get bigger and bigger. So we're heavily putting pounds of resource behind that so that we're coming up on those search terms. So from an organic point of view, we're spending a lot of money around that and optimizing that. Obviously, the referrals, I would class that as organic, the refer friends. And the other organic stuff that being honest, I've not done a huge amount of this, but we've had success in the past, is sponsorships of your local football teams and your local whatevers. They have been good for us, but I think that's more about brand awareness rather than a direct correlation. I'm a big data man. I like my scoreboards and my data of knowing exactly what's come in there and what's gone out there and what it's cost. And that's a little bit intangible sometimes. But we obviously do track that. Have I answered that question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that organic side of things. And I like the way that even though we're talking about digital marketing here, organic most definitely does include the local sponsorships, the being present in your local community, and just being I always say we drip feed our brand into people's subconscious. So, for example, this perfect example is if Santander bought a stand at your network's event. They know they're not stood there trying to get mortgages signed up there and then. It's impossible. That's not their goal. But what it is to make sure that they're visible, that they know who you are, that they maybe talk about their offer but don't ram it down your throat. That's exactly what your local advertising is. Now, you can't put your finger on if that £5,000 stand at the biggest event in the UK had generated Santander more mortgages that year. But without it, it would have definitely had a detrimental effect. Yeah.
On that stuff, you've just got to speculate, haven't you? And it will bring something. It's just difficult to pin down exactly what.
Got to try it all.
Which is some of my uneasiness. But you've got to do a bit of everything to get a bit of everything.
Exactly that. And now you're in a position where you're doing all these different things to generate leads for your amazing team. But if we cast our minds back, there was only ever one of you. So I really want to get into the staff side, because whenever I'm speaking to mortgage brokers, there's two things. How do I generate leads? And how and when do I find good staff? So I suppose my question is, when do you know it's the right time to make your first hire, John?
Well, I think when you know is probably too late, and you should do it before you know. I got some advice once, which was get rid of all of the things you're no good at.
Okay.
For mortgage brokers, that's probably your admin. You're all probably awful at your administration. So you just being able to break it down and say, okay, well, I'm doing X now. If I didn't have to spend an hour on every case I did, could I find more business? And if the answer to that is yes, then you know that it's time to make your first hire. But you were talking about right at the start, aren't you, Chris? So I guess that would be relative. Is the first hire would be an administrator for most people. But what I'm trying to do now and have been trying to do for the last few years is just sack myself. So I really want to be sacking myself from every part of the job that I do. So whether that, I don't write mortgages anymore. I haven't written them for some time. That was a big goal of mine so that I could focus on the business and not in the business. Mm-hmm. Getting rid of all of these things, whether it's outsourcing or hiring, I think is what you should absolutely be aiming to do, to have a business that runs without you. If you wait for when you need it, it will be too late, and you'll probably need two.
Okay.
If you're running absolutely at capacity and you don't know what to do, and you think, oh my god, I need an extra pair of hands, whether that's a broker or a administrator, you're probably ready at that point, in my experience, to go, okay, well, let's take two brokers on, and then we'll just shift and move and move gears. That might be too much risk for some people, but certainly as quick as you can, hire an administrator, because it absolutely changes the game.
That's a lot of mortgage brokers that have come on this podcast that have got to, I would say, the 10 plus mark. That is always their answer, really. It's very hard though, isn't it? It's scary, that first one, to think I've got to put down, I don't know, 20 to £30,000 per year, depending on how many hours. Where am I going to find that money from? But like John says there, if they're doing the tasks that you're no good at or don't enjoy, then it allows you to free up time to go and do the things that you do, which is more appointments, which is more money generating, isn't it?
And you should never think about finding £30,000. If we all waited until we had £30,000 to hire someone, then guess what? We wouldn't be hiring people. You need to think about 2 or 3 months of that salary. Have I got that? Okay, well, if I've got that and I know that I can go at this for 3 months, then in 3 months' time you'll have replaced that. And in the mortgage world, if it's I can't do that as number. If it's £2,500 a month, then that's probably 5 fees that you've got to find a month. That's just over 1 fee a week. If you break things down and give a bit of perspective on it, it's not £30,000 you've got to find. It's £2,500 a month, which is 5 fees. Could I find 5 more cases? Yes, I probably could.
Great book to read, which is exactly what you've spoke about there, and you might have already read it already. Is a book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
I thought you were going to talk about Who Not How, which is behind you.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have read that one with its impact filters. But no, that's an awesome book as well. That was recommended. I saw that on Emma Mills, who runs MITV, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. My pal.
But the Buy Back Your Time group book simply talks about buying back your time. Of course, that's the title of the book, Chris. What a stupid comment. But what he does is he says, take your profit for the year, divide it by 2,000, which is how many hours you're going to work. That will give you your hourly rate as a person. Now, what you can then do is you then divide that by 4, and that will give you what you want to do. Whatever you spend in your business, you want to make 4 times of. But what I think you do when you should start out, divide your profit by 2,000. That gives you your hourly rate. If you can pay somebody that amount to do that task, get them to do it, because it means that you can then go and do a task that you enjoy. Really simple. Divide it by 2,000 and then hire somebody to do the rest. VAs, PAs, EAs. Like there's that many different roles out there that you can get them to. All of the A's.
All of the A's, yeah. Get rid of those £5 and £10 jobs. That's that's what we're talking about.
That's exactly it, isn't it? Exactly that. I liken it to when you're cleaning your car. Some of my friends love cleaning their car. They absolutely love cars, and it's their passion. They love doing it. I don't like cars at all. It gets me from A to B. I would never sit there and spend 3 hours cleaning it. One, because I don't have the want to do it. But two, I don't have all the right equipment to do it. So I will pay somebody to clean the car. I know how to clean the car. I could clean the car, but I choose not to because them cleaning the car means I could go and play golf, which somebody might hate. So it's all balancing what you want to do, but try and outsource the tasks that you don't.
That's really important, Chris, because not everyone wants to build 10. That's not everyone's cup of tea. So if you paying out X amount of money allows you to play around with golf or whatever it is you want to do, then it's worth every penny of that and give you some time. It doesn't have to be, I want to hire someone just to get bigger or better.
Good point. I've spoken to a few like mortgage business coaches, and he has a couple of clients that want to have a lifestyle business rather than a 20-person business. He wants to spend time with his partner and his family more. And that's, do you know what I mean? I don't think that's spoken about as much as it should be. But anyway, that's a completely different wormhole, isn't it, that one?
It is a completely different wormhole. But what I would say is there's no right or wrong. It's what you want out of it. And sometimes all that you end up doing is having a very well-paid job. But you're working 80 hours rather than 40 hours a week. Yeah. And that's not everyone's ideal.
And I think with the likes of talking about AI and software, it's becoming a lot easier. The barrier to entry of having a lifestyle business is a lot easier, which we'll talk a bit about further on in this podcast. So let's talk about staff. So you said to me at the beginning, you've grown the company, you've shrunk the company, you've grown it again. Why was that?
Well, it's happened a couple of times. And there were a multitude of different reasons. I think the bit that I probably kick myself over is hiring the wrong people. Hiring is so hard. It is the hardest part of my job. Right. And particularly when you're hiring salespeople, because they only tell you what you want to hear. But I've made some wrong decisions. And I've had to undo those and go backwards before we can go forwards. So that was definitely one of the times. I grew a couple of individuals who took under our wing and built them up and gave them an opportunity. And then it was time for them to go on their own. That really hurt, if I'm honest. But that's going to happen. That is the nature of our game. I did it. Most people listening to this podcast probably did it. And if you can come to terms with that, you'll be a far happier person, because I previously used to beat myself up a lot about that. With all these people that have taken me for whatever. And the reality is everyone does it. That's the industry that we work in, and the sooner you can come to terms with it, better. So gone backwards because of staff leaving to do what I did, which is fair enough. Gone backwards because I've had to remove people from the business who weren't right. They didn't fit the brand, they didn't fit the culture, they didn't fit what we were about. And then the third one, which is what it is just about market conditions, really. Over the last 6-7 years, we've had far from a plain straight to work with, and it's been tough at times. So, but they're the big three.
Okay, and thank you for being so honest, because there's so many people, as I said, that could sit on social media and say our team's growing again and we're fantastic and all this, whereas actually it's growing because maybe it shrunk a couple of years ago. One thing that stuck out for me there, John, is you've obviously learned from the fact of you build people up, and it must be really frustrating. You build somebody up to almost know your business inside out and become a bit of a mini you, does everything the way you want it to. And then those people then go, I'm pretty good at this, and John's pretty much taught me about everything in the business. I could go and do it on my own. That's a big thing to sit back and go, yeah, you're annoyed, but even to sit back and say, look, I'm happy for them. they're going to do their own thing. The one that really intrigues me...
Let's not go that far, Chris. Let's not go that far. But, I've come to peace with it.
Come to peace with it. Okay, fair enough. But so when you talk about hiring the ones that give you a good sales patter on an interview, is there anything that you could teach people that are sitting there that are maybe worried that might happen to them, that they make the wrong hire in inverted commas?
I mean, the rule that I live by is hire slow, fire fast. And that's the best advice I've ever read with regards to recruitment. Rushing a recruitment is never going to work the way you want it to. So the advice to make sure they don't get over-promised or sold to, I guess, is to make sure you're always second interview. Mm-hmm. And ideally, if you're the person that's done the first interview, make sure when you do the second interview that you're not saying a lot, because you can really see something different about the candidate when you're just listening as opposed to having to think of the questions at the same time. So I would say that's a golden one. I would make sure you do personality profiles. So there's loads of them out there: DISCs, Insights, Myers-Briggs, whichever one you choose. Just make sure you do them, because it will give you a really good insight as to the person that's coming to join your team and whether or not they're going to fit with your team, or if that team is you, whether they're going to fit with you. Because if you're I'm a high D, if I've got a low S who's very detail orientated, who wants to go slower, that's going to drive me crazy. So, you want to make sure that you've got a personality that's going to fit with you. Opposites complement, absolutely, but you just need to understand what you're getting into bed with, I guess. And then making sure that you've got your ideal candidate, so you know what you want to see from that person that you're interviewing, and really sticking to it, because it's so easy. We've been interviewing for 2 brokers since the start of December, and when I say we, there's 2 of us on it, full-time recruiting, me and my sales director Andy. We've done loads of second interviews, and we've only just job offered someone yesterday.
Wow! So we're recording this at the beginning of February for anyone listening. So that's nearly 3 December, January. Yeah, nearly 3 months.
2.5 months. 2.5 months, if you call it. So, and if for anyone that follows me on LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever else, you'll see my content is constantly about the type of candidates that we're looking for. And we're really open about it. We say, look, this is not for you if you want a home-based role, because that's not the business I believe in. I don't feel that you can learn remotely in our job. If I said to, or if someone said to me, right, John, we're going to take your kids out of school, we're going to put them at home on Zoom, and they're going to sit in their bedroom all day, I'd go, well, that's crazy. How are they going to learn by the other end of a computer screen, shut in their bedroom all day? But we seem to have that as a common practice. I think there's a time and place for it, but not full time. So we're really open about that. We're really open that we want superstars. We are not looking for plodders that will do 150 grand a year. We want £250,000 bankers. So be true to what you want and don't settle for less.
I love that. So ideal client, I call them the ICE, ideal client example. So have that nailed down. I always like to give them a name as well. I have 2 that I aim mine at, and it's Simon and Teresa. And I don't know why those 2 names are but in my head, whenever I'm creating a post and they have they're at different stages in their career, I'm thinking, does this fit Simon's profile or does that fit Teresa's profile? If it doesn't, I'm not writing it for them. So that's exactly it. If you're writing a job offer, you're writing it for that ideal client. Yeah. So I love that. The second interview, that's gold. But not only book one, but don't say much. I like that too. Yeah. Let them talk.
And if you're a one-person band, one-man band, one person, don't know what you're allowed to say anymore, then get someone else in to help you with that second interview, with a friend, partner, whoever. Doesn't really matter who it is, but someone that can just ask some questions and you can just sit and listen.
and take your time. Like you said, don't rush into it. And I think
Yeah.
that probably alludes to the question that I asked, when do you hire your first staff? You say way before you're ready, because
Yes.
if you're ready today and it's 2.5 months until you find the perfect candidate, you're not only having to interview, but you're also having to run the business, run any other staff. So hire before you're ready.
Get your mortgage offers, all the rest of it. Yeah, it takes a long time.
Okay, so final question of the podcast, and this is a new one that we'd put in after asking a poll on LinkedIn that people wanted to know about our guests. So, what one piece of software makes your life easier when you're running the business, John?
Okay. So, this is a new thing that I started in 2025, but it's scoreboards.
Okay.
For me. So that I said earlier, I'm data. So I worked with a new coach last year. Started working with a new coach who's been amazing. And one of the things that he's got me to do is to get some dashboards or scoreboards. Same thing, different terminology. So what that tells me is all the way from the amount of introducer visits we're doing, or the amount we're spending on Google SEO, how many people are going on the website, how many leads we're getting, how many we've spoken to, of the ones we've spoken to, who's booked an appointment, who hasn't booked an appointment, who's not answered a call, who's taken protection, who hasn't taken protection, when they have taken protection, what the average premium is, what the average sale is, how long it's taken to get from out to offer. All of these things having a scoreboard. I go through it with my leadership team every Monday. We review anything that's been read for 2 or more weeks. And then everyone has some actions that they take away. And then we'll review that on the Wednesday in our leadership meeting and say, right, where are we at on that? Where are we at on that? Where are we at on that? What do we need to do? And it just helps us so much build momentum. So, it used to be Excel spreadsheets and the rest of it. It's now dashboards and produces the data, and then we just look at it. But that has changed the game for me in the last 9 months.
And is that because you can... Before, I suppose it was just a case of, well, it's happening. Whereas now it's like, well, introducers are slightly down, but organic referrals are up. So what are we doing to win in organic referrals? What do we need to do to bring introducers? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about? Yeah.
So before I was just looking at the end result. How much business have we written? How much money have we banked last month or last week? Now I'm looking at the bit that's 6 months before that to understand the dials that I can shift and move on that to get a better outcome. So yeah, that's absolutely it, Chris.
Love. And is it a bit of software that you use, or is it something you developed yourself?
Go high level.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a dashboard within the CRM, plugs in all the information. Obviously, Go High Level can talk to Google Ads and all the rest of it. So yeah, it brings it all together. And then there's some bits that the team have to manually put in from the. So we literally track everything. How many calls are made to which people and average call time and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. I love Go High Level for that, for the tracking, for the pipeline, how many you've converted. If anybody hasn't used it, please just go and give it a go. We're not sponsored by it whatsoever, but we've talked a lot about it. Please go and give it a go, because it's really, I think it's maybe £50-60 a month for everything that I think you would need. What's interesting is there's quite a few tools on there that's almost future-proofed it. Have you looked at the AI agents yet?
I haven't, no. I saw that pop up about 2 or 3 months ago, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
That looks intriguing.
I don't know how it would work with the financial services sector, because it would have to be obviously heavy regulated. But essentially within Go High Level, for anybody listening, you can build your own AI agent. I saw somebody do it for like a plumber, and it has access to the diary, and you'll speak to somebody at AI, and it just saves you having to be on the phone. So somebody can phone you at 2 a.m. and still book an appointment. So it's quite an interesting concept. But
there's some cool stuff in there, and I'm sure the price will go up at some point. But for the moment, I think it represents incredible value. And I'm not sponsored by them, but perhaps I should be.
I might try and tie in for, when you get a lifetime membership offer. I might try and buy it. If it ever comes around, I'll be snapping their hands off.
Yeah.
So, John, you are on a personal brand journey at the moment, aren't you? You want to shout about how you've built this business. And I hope everybody listening to this realises it's not from a place of ego. It's purely a place of John wants to help people do what he's done really over the last 10 years. So I know a lot of people will want to connect with you, John. Where's the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah, so 2 places that my personal brand content goes out on. One is my personal LinkedIn. If you search John Foster, you'll find it. And the second is Instagram. So it's John Foster Live on Instagram is the handle. And I look forward to connecting with you and sharing some of my content with you. It's a journey that I'm on. I'm really enjoying it, documenting the journey. And lots of people have helped me, so I'm hoping I can help some others as well.
Awesome. What a lovely way to wrap up the podcast. John, thank you very much for coming on. I'm sure I'd like to have you on again to talk about your personal brand journey, maybe in 6-12 months' time, see how it's going and some of the lessons you've learned from that as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Chris.
Thanks very much for your time, John. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Pleasure.